Hey, Hannah, this is part 2 of Levi Mack. Welcome back into the Dynamis studio this week, guys. This is a 2-part series. For everybody that didn't listen to last week's episode, I would encourage you to go back, listen to episode 1, because it's laying the foundation of our guest today, Levi Mack, who is a clothing brand owner, a company called Killbuilt, a YouTube influencer. What do you call that? A YouTube what?
I just like to call it, I don't even know. I just say YouTuber. I guess that's what all the little kids are saying nowadays, or to everyone. YouTuber, some guy on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Levi Mack, a YouTuber, a clothing brand builder, entrepreneur, a fitness aficionado. So we are going to get into the nitty gritty about affiliate marketing, growing your brand. But, this journey is long and it's not cut and dry. It's not black and white, and there's a lot of gray. And the story, the foundation that we walk to accomplish this journey is really important. Where you came from is really important for where you're going, what lies ahead in the future. And I would really encourage you, if you're just joining us, go back and listen to part 1. But, as we paused the show and restarted, we were talking about, community and brotherhood. And something that I've really leaned into this year is I really am in tune and listening to when God nudges me in a direction to go meet someone.
Right.
So, there's always, I think we all experience this feeling of like, I should go say hi to that guy. There's a weird reason why. I don't really know why. And you are an example of that. Can't explain why. Right away, God put it on my heart. I want to talk to this guy. And, honestly, I think what's going to end up, who knows what's going to come out of it. But what I do know is that we're probably going to find community in one another, mentorship with one another. It's going to be a friendship that grows through this crazy journey of entrepreneurship. And I would encourage anybody listening that if you're feeling that desire, that nudge, hey, I should go talk to this guy. I should go meet this person. Put yourself out there and do it, because this year alone, I can't even tell you how much fruit has come from literally following that gut feeling and going and meeting somebody, and that leads to an interview, or that leads to a friendship, and that leads to an opportunity. So it's really fruitful. And I've been trying to really be intentional about listening to that spiritual nudging and executing on it. So we left off. Where did we leave off last week?
We left off kind of in the midst of definitely talking about community, talking about where I was a year ago, kind of like the dark side of building community via social media.
Like appeasing to the algorithm.
Yes.
And we started talking about, the desire to be accepted and like losing followers on that journey. But, the fruit is going to be 10x more beneficial if you do the slow burn of growing the organic audience. And so I'm interested in your workflow. So you came back home, you decided, look, I'm going to start being true to myself, making my true content. And are you still in this shift right now, in this transition?
I would say like half and half. I would say 75-25. I would say part of me sometimes wants to go back and play that character because like the growth was nice, but then I also have to think about how I felt during that time period. So it's kind of, I would say, instant gratification sort of thing, fighting against that. Like, yeah, it might feel great in the moment, but long term, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it really getting, kind of like you said, it's just going to hurt you in the long run.
I also think too, though, you timed it poorly, and it's not that you timed it poorly, but when you made this shift back to being your authentic self, the algorithm switched too. And I don't know if you're paying attention to, metrics, but data consumption, like video, short form video consumption, way down. We have, sales conversions from social media way down. Engagements is way down. And I don't really know why that is. I don't know, I'm in a couple mentorship groups, and I also follow social media personalities who all they do is specialize in growing your business. Do you do as well?
I've looked at groups and into it, and I just know it exists, and there's communities of people that talk about specifically, maybe just Instagram, maybe just YouTube, and they just literally talk about what's going on and what they're seeing.
Yeah. So how are you, what is your, I want to know about your workflow, because something that feels really heavy to me, and I think a lot of people, is how do you integrate shooting all this content while you're on your journey? I just watched you do this marathon train up and you did the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
your run up, how you switched, your lifting program and went into your running program. And then, even after that, like, okay, I finished my marathon training, and then you had to sit back and reassess, what am I going to focus on now? What's the next, benchmark? And I got to grow my business. And for me, something that I struggle with is it's interruptive to my flow. To like, as I get into a creative flow, or let's say I go hit the gym, for me to pause, go set up a camera, shoot content, look at it. How do you manage the workflow? Because it has to just be easy. It has to be just part of your routine and your system.
I think that's the answer right there, is making it part of the routine. And that's something people don't often get. So I guess like what I mean by making it a part of your routine is every time throughout my day, I did this really well when I was first starting, and it was, I'd be about my day, an idea pops up during my day, and I'm thinking, and as soon as that idea pops up in my head, I go, let's do it right now. Like, it just helps with the flow because it's not disruptive. If it takes just a few seconds, let's just do it now. So with camera setups and stuff like that, so a lot of my videos, my videos, for example, might be informative. And sometimes you think of informative videos as just sit down videos. Yeah, some of them are like that. And I do have a certain time period where I have to set up the camera and everything. But I try to implement my informativeness into things that I'm doing. So, for example, I just made this video on my YouTube that isn't out yet, but it's about how to bulk and do cardio. Well, I do things throughout my day that practice that. I'm currently trying to put on weight and do cardio. Why not just talk about it throughout the course of my day so I can knock out all of that throughout my day, if that makes sense.
So are you using like your camera? How are you integrating?
Yeah, I'm using my camera. I just bring my camera everywhere with me. Like, my friend makes a joke to me. He goes, you carry around the turtle shell everywhere.
The turtle shell?
It's a camera bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a camera bag. And I go, well, it's easier than having to go, I can't go here right now. I have to stay at home and record this. And that's where like it interrupts the flow. So for example, if I have an appointment, I could have a super busy day like I did yesterday. I had to go work on a fence. I had to do this, and this. But if I just bring the camera with me on that journey, not only do people get to see who Levi is on and off the camera and help with community, but it also just it just keeps the flow of my day going instead of having to just stop. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs now coming out and talking about, like Alex Hormozy, Nick Bear, a lot of people talking about screw your routine. Not necessarily that you don't need one, because you do, but be able to flow with it. Don't get mad because something in your day has come up or something. Find a way to flow with it. And I found that just like carrying my camera with me everywhere I go, depending on whatever's happening during the day, and recording it as I go. Like, for example, you did one of the videos I saw on your Instagram where you're giving advice in the car.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, do wherever you're going. Like, if it pops in your head, just shoot it right there or something. You know what I mean? Like,
let me tell you a story about that video. I got so much flack for that video because people are like, pay attention to the road. And like, that's unsafe. Dude, the most comments I've gotten in a quarter came from that video. People commenting angrily that I'm in a car.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it look like? You're struck by inspiration. You got the turtle bag, the camera. Okay. So you just pull it out. Are you shooting on a tripod? Like, how does this work?
So I do use the tripod at times.
Are you always carrying a tripod?
It depends on the day and the video, but I do always try to have all my camera gear just in case. But if not, I can find things. So like, for example, if I'm walking outside, right? If I'm doing like a walk outside and I feel like, oh, I'm inspired by something. Okay, there's a brick sort of structure over there. Let me go and put my wallet on top of it. And then so the camera has like a little bit of an angle. Like, I'll find my own like nature tripod or whatever.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
So instead of like writing your ideas down in the moment of inspiration and coming back to them, you're just capturing the inspiration moment.
It's the best when it's fresh.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, because
really
when you try to recite things, that's when it gets worse. Like, because then now you're trying to control it and you're trying to make it perfect. And I found just, if you just say what's on your mind right away, it's kind of like the gut feeling thing you said. If it just comes to you there, get it done now.
Okay, so then that leads me to my second follow-up question is, how do you get, and this is something I've gotten way better with, but I think a lot of people listening out there right now are like, man, there's no way I'm going to stand outside in a crowd of people and talk to a camera like a jackwagon.
Yeah.
how do you get over that fear of, you know, there's people around. I guarantee you there's people looking at you, talk to your camera and vlog.
100%.
You know, how do you deal with that?
So I do want to mention this. It still happens at times. Like the fear, I think everyone that is a YouTuber still thinks about it, but it's what you do with the thought. And so when I get that thought, I tell myself, I just rebunk it with some sort of half truth. So I'll say to myself, this is before it was profitable. I would tell myself, okay, if the goal is to, you know, do this for a living, am I gonna let someone dictate the fact that I have to pay bills and this video has to get done? Like, what if I don't get it done, then I don't get paid?
That's
like,
true.
am I gonna let this person dictate that I don't get paid because I'm not gonna record this right now? Like, I just look at it as if I'm already there.
Yeah.
And act as if I'm already there, because think about, like, if you're, I have 1 million subscribers, I have to go record out in public today. Oh, so you're going to miss out. Let's just say you average like 400,000 views on like a video, which would be the equivalent of like 2,000, 2,500, depending on the topic of the video, of course. You're just going to miss out on like $2,500.
So let's talk. I actually want to talk about this. This is something I don't know about monetizing, because my growth is slow. And so I don't have as big of reach. You know, I think my biggest videos, I think, have gotten like, I don't know, 12 or 13,000 views. What's a typical audience reach for you when you're, you know, I don't know, you produce a video. What do you, I know you track it.
100%.
So what are your views looking like?
So interesting question. Very interesting question. I say that because I have experienced things, time periods where I've gotten on Instagram, for example, I used to have averages of like 200K views a video. And you're like, holy moly. Again, wasn't necessarily 100% acting like myself. So now I would say, I just can't, I feel like I can't give you an accurate number, but how about this? I'll give you my YouTube one. And right now I average about 1.2K to 2K. And YouTube views are always worth more, in my opinion, because it's long form content.
Do you get paid off of 1,000 views on YouTube?
People think it's 1,000 views. It's every view. And it depends where the country is.
How are you getting paid? So let's talk about this. How are you getting paid from YouTube videos?
So it's obviously there's like the click per whatever, like how many people view it and whatnot, and like what country they're from, because they all have like a different pay scale. I don't know why exactly. YouTube sponsors, old videos. People always forget that your old videos are passive income.
Okay, hang on a second here. So do you have to reach a certain subscriber level before you start? Okay, and what subscriber level do you have to reach?
1,000.
You have to get 1,000 subscribers, and then you start getting paid per.
Then you also have to have 4,000 hours of watch time too.
Okay, so two key metrics here. How did you find that out?
Well, it tells you on YouTube, actually, to be part of the creator program, to like get monetized on there, you have to meet these milestones.
So you need 1,000 followers and you need 4,000 hours of watched videos. And then it's paid per click.
It's paid per click, paid per view, something like that. Yeah.
And is it because of ad spend underneath the YouTube videos?
I'm most definitely positive. I mean, I always tell people, like, these apps want to make money. Yeah. So obviously, if you can make the app more money, your video is going to do better. So
this is something I'm very, very interested in, because the only videos I've ever gotten monetized for whatever reason are Facebook videos. And I think it's like, you know, I don't know, I'll get like 20,000 views in a month or something, and they'll pay me $4.95 or something, like $4, you know?
Yeah, sounds about right.
So I'm curious. I think I already know the answer, and I know personally what my opinion is, but where's the biggest leverage? Is it YouTube or Instagram? What do you think is more valuable of a platform?
YouTube.
Me too. I totally agree. It's a search engine. It's growing. It's like capturing massive market share. Think about it. I mean, just ask yourself this question. If you have to figure out something that you don't know, do you go to Google or YouTube? I go to YouTube every single time. You know why? Because it's not just like some typed explanation. It's somebody showing it to me, explaining it to me. I have 10 different, if this guy doesn't speak to me in the language I need to be spoken to, there's 20 more people doing the same thing, breaking it down. I can pause. You know what I love about YouTube? I love the affiliate links underneath. So I'm like, what is that thing? Every time, open it up, click the link, boom, it's in my Amazon cart. I love that. I love that. And you just don't get that, you know, on Instagram. It's, first of all, it's not as, Instagram is like crack. You can scroll it. It's interesting. but it's not as useful. And
No.
And what I mean is, with YouTube, I can take action right now on a product, on a service. With Instagram, there's more, it's clunky. I have to click the link in the bio, go to the link tree, click whatever service. Then I have to scroll through whatever they're offering. And with YouTube, the conversions are just so much faster.
Yeah.
You have to make that funnel like greasy and slippery. If they can see something that you're using and click 2 times and it's in the shopping cart, boom, all day that's going to beat Instagram. That doesn't mean I don't think that there's, a lot of there's Instagram is super useful.
Yeah.
It's useful for, like, for example, stories, right? The 24-hour stories. Yeah. That gives you a dynamic inside behind the curtain. They're knowing you organically. Yeah. They're liking you. They're trusting you. They're following your day. And right now, YouTube doesn't have an interface like that, and I'm actually surprised because it's a huge market share they're missing out on, I think, personally. But I would agree. I think YouTube has the most runway. It's a video search engine. Are you posting on all platforms or just YouTube and Instagram? Are you hitting up TikTok?
I do TikTok as well, but primarily YouTube. Like, that was always the goal. I try to remind myself, hey, these short form content platforms are great, but they were never the goal.
Yeah,
like they were never part of what I thought was going to help kickstart my journey. So I would try to remind myself not to focus on them too much.
So YouTube, once you reach the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 watched hours, do they reach out to you and say, congratulations, you qualify for the monetization program? Or
I think you get like a notification through your email saying, hey, like, you reached the milestones, blah blah blah, this is how you continue on to like the monetization process, and like you go through this Google payment setup. It's called Google AdSense, and you sign up through that, and then you're pretty much, you get like a, what is it called, where it's, you don't get a paycheck, but like instant deposit or whatever it's called, from jobs and stuff like that do that. So you get it.
How often do they pay? Is it once a month?
Yeah, it's once a month.
Okay, it's once a month. What do you bring in on average from YouTube?
Just YouTube, dude. It's so funny. This is like how cheap they pay for like. So right now, last month I got like 207,000 monthly views on YouTube, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
and I got $506 just for that.
So then, right there, case in point.
Yeah.
Even Mr. Beast. Is not living off of views. No. So it's great. It's kitty money. You can go take your wife out to dinner or something like that. That's not how you make a living. So, something that I'm really, really interested in is, and I'm curious, is an affiliate marketing. I see you on your YouTube channel. Something I love is you're telling me, here's my supplement stack this week. I'm trying out this new product. I just got this thing in. It's crazy because it's such a simple strategy. I love it, dude. I love it. I love your review of like the taste of this product or how you felt or what your performance is. How did you move into these affiliate marketing links? Did they just start sending you product organically? Did you reach out to them?
I've reached out to a couple. Like, I always, like, looking back at the beginning of my journey, I wish I would have reached out to a lot more companies, because people don't realize, like, if a company's never heard of you before, they're not going to reach out. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't find you, they're not going to reach out. But if you just type in like a, hey, and then they look at your profile and like, this guy fits, like, you've opened a potential door for yourself. So, but
do they interview you at all? Or is it just like they look at your profile?
So it depends on the kind of affiliation that you get, right? So if someone wants, so for example, I'm with a supplement company. Yes, there's a whole interview process involved, because when you're being signed to be an athlete, a representation of the brand, they don't want just some kid who's making TikToks, doing some crazy stuff on the weekends and stuff like that. And brands have actually seen crazy backlash from that, because I'm trying to think of some brands out there. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I've definitely seen it, where they have these people that they've signed, and then, you know, it doesn't work out for them because the person gives a bad brand image. So yeah, there's a whole process to some of it, but then some do just say, hey, try this product. If you want to review it on your YouTube, great. We'll give you a pay cut, and, you know, like,
like every purchase made from your affiliate link, you get a cut of,
or
like that.
Or they'll give you, like, what was it, a salary and then also a pay cut. If that makes sense.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So with these affiliate programs, there's all kinds of different ways to structure these deals.
Right.
So some people will pay you a salary plus give you product to review. Some people give you a split of the sales from your affiliate link. And then of course they're sending you free product, right? To try. Is it a one time they're sending you free product, or is it reoccurring?
It depends on how long the contract is for. Honestly, that's really how it depends. Like right now I'm working with this brand called Ketone IQ, which is one of the military's biggest consumers. And essentially what it is, just like a brief thing if anyone's wondering what it is, it's just ketones are derived from the liver when your body breaks down fat for energy use. And so essentially your body doesn't have to like produce it. It's just straight from the drink. And I'm working with them right now. And we signed a 6-month contract. So every month on the contract was they send me free product every month and I get a pay cut every month. And that was a contract. And for my supplement company, it's the same thing. Like I'm an athlete with them.
Okay. It's a supplement company that you have an affiliation with, not your personal supplement.
No.
Okay.
No, I have an affiliation with this supplement company that, I'm an athlete for. We go over the contract every 6 months. And again, it depends how serious the brand wants to be with you too. Yeah. And I've seen that because like I've experienced on the end where brands don't want to be serious with me. I've experienced where brands want to be serious with me. And it really just depends on, after that, like the decision for yourself. Does this fit me? Is this something that I'm excited about? Because I don't want to sell my audience something I'm not excited about.
Yeah, you want to believe in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because your brand is more valuable than whatever product that you're, working.
I don't want to be a sellout.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how many affiliate companies are you working with right now?
Sorry, I got to think about that. 1, 2. I think at the moment, if I'm right, I'm just working with 2.
2.
Yeah, but I get random monthly ones. You know what I mean? Like sometimes ones will just come through. Like I've worked with HelloFresh before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Recently, like I've worked with them. I've worked with so many different brands just month to month sometimes, but I'm only working with 2 dominant ones right now.
I mean, if you're making money,
yeah,
and you're reducing your expenses by getting free product, that's a huge perk.
100%.
Look, are you going to start becoming a YouTuber to get free product? Is that the goal? No. But listen, if you're reducing your monthly expenses and it's necessary for what you're trying to accomplish, that's a huge perk. There's a brand called Mizzen in Maine. Okay. It's a new clothing brand. They make like men's work apparel. There's dress shirts and pants, and then they have like a casual line. And this is like the craziest thing I've said yet on this podcast, because it's just so weird, but I'm paying attention to their brand. I like it. I bought their clothes. I met the founder at a conference, an entrepreneurship conference. I wear their clothes constantly. In fact, when I do any work function, it's the only clothing I wear. And I'm looking at their social media and I'm thinking to myself, man, at what point do I reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to rep your stuff. I'm constantly on social media, because think about it. That's a huge expense in my life. I'm spending $1,000 on work clothes, for 5 shirts, 5 shirts and 3 pairs of pants, $1,000 for work clothes. If I can cut that expense out, and look, that's not the motivation to do what I'm doing,
right? 100%.
But if it's in alignment and it's an easy lift and I can rep the brand, why not? Are you applying these affiliate programs with your own clothing line? Like, are you giving clothing to other people that you want to rep your brand?
Yeah. So I've slowly started to do that a lot more, just because I know the impact that it has. And I also want people that are representing what the brand is to be a part of it, just so it gives the brand a good image.
Yeah.
Right. And I really want to build community with my brand. That's like one of the biggest things I'm so honed in on, just as like creating community with my brand. And so by obviously having affiliates and whatnot, they can experience what it's like to have community through my brand. And so that's definitely something I'm starting to do now.
Something that maybe you should consider doing is, like, you do have I think you have the ability to grow a strong community. There's a lot of people that like what you're doing and, they relate to your journey and your struggles, and you're doing hard things and you're showing your failures. And something that I think you probably could have a lot of traction on and monetize is a community, like a little network, a mastermind where you have accountability coaching. Maybe you're not coaching, but you're like, this is where we're going. Who's coming with? And you show up maybe once a month and do an accountability call.
Yeah.
Guys share, like you sit how many men are like authentically sharing their journey, sharing their struggles. So that's something that you could consider, because you have a powerful brand. Yeah. You could totally do that.
Oh, I've been thinking that is something that's definitely down the future. I've talked about it multiple times. Like, for example, two people that I really like that modeled that kind of thing with community very well is Nick Bear and Christian Guzman. And so essentially what they do, Christian Guzman has this thing where it's called summer shredding, where he gets, super shredded for a bodybuilding competition in line with his own bodybuilding competition that he hosts, that other people in his community join. So that's where you're talking about, like, yeah, it's profitable, but you also get to connect with people. Like, I love connection with people. It sucks because, like, I'm one of those people sometimes where I get so emotionally involved, I forget about the fact that it's also a business, if that makes sense.
100%.
And so I get so involved in the community. And so I like to represent business models like that. And then also with Nick Bear, he does like this thing where they do a marathon, a half marathon, and he gets everyone to train for it, his community. They go do it and they get to be a part of the experience. And that's something I really want to create.
Yeah, I think that there's so much value in that. When I started this podcast, I really just started it because I wanted to help my friends. I wanted my friends to listen to the show, pick up these little breadcrumbs of success and discipline and, removing these limiting beliefs so that they could get to the next level. And the longer I'm on this journey, I'm saying to myself, if I keep doing this thing, there's so much more opportunity that I could have never even foreseen. I'm thinking, how many people out there are wanting to have passive income, or wanting to invest, or wanting to become financially free, have literally no idea how to do it, have no idea how to get in front of opportunity or deal flow. And the more I just stay consistent, the more I put myself in proximity of these entrepreneurs and business owners and investors, opportunity just comes. It just comes and comes and comes. And I thought to myself, well, what if I built a community out of this podcast that opens that opportunity up to my audience, that says, like, look, let's go do this thing together. Here's the opportunity. I've underwritten it. Let me present it to you. If you're in alignment with it, let's go. If not, that's cool too. But I want to give opportunity to people that normally wouldn't have that opportunity, because the whole point of this community is to make people better, to give them, the autonomy and the freedom. And so something I've been kicking around lately is like, what is the thing? What is the thing that's coming out of this? And that's the thing when you start this journey is, your intention initially, as you set off, right, as you embark, totally is different than the destination that you arrive at. I could have never predicted the opportunity that's come, the relationships that have come. All I was trying to do is give information to my friends. All I was trying to do is like help them get to the next level. And now it's like, wow, what could this become? What could this become that I didn't even imagine or couldn't imagine before? So yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about your clothing brand.
Yep.
Tell me about how you got started with Kill Built.
So this is very, very good story. So I should first off by saying this. I struggle with the doubt disorder, and I assure you've seen that on Instagram. I have pure obsessive compulsive disorder. It is a hell to live with. Like, it has been, if not it has been the hardest thing in my life. And I could equate it to, Luke Combs said it very well. I don't know if you know who Luke Combs is, country singer. So he said it best. And he said he would rather, if someone killed his whole family, right? He would rather them be free to live, but with OCD, than go to jail. That's how bad it is. And I live with that. And so I remember at one point last year, I was like thinking to myself, nothing will stop me, because I developed it rather very recently. Within the past year and a half, I developed it, and it's been life-changing. And I thought, that is never going to stop me from getting to my goals. So what's something that can stand by that? And I was like, Kill Built. Like, I'm not stopping. Like, it just sounded like something, just like it was something that had already been too. And so I think that's where I'll segue just strictly into the brand. So Kill Built was already a thing. Kill Built has been a thing since 2015, not mine. It was my dad's friend who came up with it, and my dad. And it had died. And when I was sitting there in my room, kind of like thinking about the whole OCD thing and trying to create something of my own, I was like, man, I just need like a clothing brand name, or not even clothing brand. I was like, I just need something that I can create to make community. And I was sitting there, and Kill Built just kept coming into my head. I'm like, no, stop. I wanted to be creative genius behind the name. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I just went with it. I had to. I was like, man, everything that I was imagining was coming from that name. So on my website, I do give recognition to where the name came from and everything.
I've seen that. I've seen that testimonial.
Yeah. So I gave that.
Now, the more we talk in this conversation, I'm like, dang, am I a secret super fan? Because I've watched a lot of your content.
I think I talk a lot on my social. I think a lot of people if you watch my social media actively, you probably get a lot of Levi in there. Like,
and I do watch it actively because I love the journey.
Yeah,
and I love other people that are struggling and winning. Like, I want to watch you win. I want you to win. I already see a winner. I just like following the journey and supporting in any way I can, so, but anyways.
So I put that on the website, got him to I just wanted to give the proper recognition. And I remember I sat there and thought to myself, though, is that what I need to be doing? Right. Same with you. You were like, do I need to be doing this? So I prayed about it. I said, God, should I do this? Because then my doubting disease started picking up. I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like I doubt so much more than the average person, which is, it's just weird to say. But I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm going to go tell my grandpa about it, who you've, I'm sure, met, Jim. And I told him about it. He goes, oh, that sounds great. And then he also told me, well, why don't you pray about it? I pray about it. A couple days goes by, nothing. Third day goes by. I show up to the gym. There's this guy I had been seeing at the gym for a while. And he comes up to me. And he's like, hey, I just want to introduce myself. I've heard your name through mutual friends. And he's like, I've heard you worked out here. You do social media and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. We get to know each other over the course of a day or two. Then we work out together. And he's like, oh, what have you been working on now? I saw you're on social media and stuff. And I go, dude, if I'm being honest with you, right from the get-go, this guy barely knows me. I'm just being completely open and honest with him. And I go, I'm trying to start a clothing brand, but dude, I have no idea where to start. Looking at manufacturers just scares me because I don't know what to do. How do I ask for this? And he goes, you could just ask for it. And I'm thinking, who is this guy just ask for it? Does he even know what he's talking about? And he goes, I actually own my own clothing brand. I've been manufacturing for over a year. And I literally in that moment was like, God literally just answered my prayer.
Are you serious?
Yes. In that moment, I knew God wanted me to do it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because my biggest thing, why I was praying for it, because I'm be honest, I wouldn't have prayed for it if I knew exactly what to do or had a good sense of what I was doing. I prayed about it because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. That is a point that I need to put into my life. So many times I try to just figure out the answer on my own. Yeah.
And so I prayed about it. And then I was like, boom, this is something I need to tackle. And so ever since then, it's just taken off from there because he's been a really big help in me starting. He gave me the courage to start.
I want to interject just for a moment.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to challenge you as a friend.
Yep.
You used some language a couple times. You said, I have more self-doubt than other people.
Yep.
I have OCD.
Yep.
I am this thing.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going.
What am I going to say? You're
going to say I am statements and you are not what. Yeah.
I just want you to know that the stories we tell ourselves are true. And even if it is true, if you start telling yourself that it's not.
Yeah.
I don't have more worry because I have faith. I don't have OCD. Even if you do.
Yeah.
Tell yourself and reaffirm it again and again and again. Because as you know, and I know, how powerful is this thing between your ears?
And so insanely powerful.
Insanely powerful. Even if you whisper.
Yeah.
A whisper so quiet that it doesn't even escape your tongue.
Yeah.
You internalize it. And your unconscious mind works towards it while you're sleeping, while you're awake, without you even thinking about it or internalizing it. You move towards it.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah. It's actually good thing that you say that, because it's funny because I will start talking like that and then I'll go back and not talk like that. But people will catch on. They'll be like, you're using I am statements again.
Filter it because you're a powerful person. God made you upright in his image, head up, shoulders back. Those little lies of I have more doubt. That is not of God.
Yeah,
so
no.
Catch it. I'm challenging you as your friend. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you meet this guy, and boom, all of a sudden you're in the clothing business.
Yep.
Right. And so how are you coming up with product? How are you coming up with looks? How are you coming up with designs? How's this journey looked?
So I've worked, like we talked about with affiliate marketing earlier, I've worked with other brands before. I've worked with other clothing brands. And so I think one of the best ways I've been able to come up with designs is seeing where people are failing. So for example, I see these other clothing brands and I see that they are, how do I word this? They're just copy and pasting. It's the same thing. Like I'm not talking about North Face. I'm not talking about successful brands because clearly those guys are doing something right. I'm talking about in the space where I'm at, there is just copy and paste everywhere. Like I've literally seen these things on these manufacturing websites where I'm like, they literally just took someone else's idea, put their logo on it, and then just put it right back out into the marketplace. And people are repping this going, oh, this is awesome. And they're also lacking community. So for example, there's this brand, and I'm not going to directly say the name, but they recently just hit 1 million followers on their Instagram, and they're a huge clothing brand in the industry that I'm in.
Is it the 10,000 or something like that?
No,
you know who
no,
I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're cool though. They're very cool. But no, it's this other brand. They just hit 1 million, and people, like a lot of younger kids, not kids, but teenagers, love repping their brand. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, it's more so like they have this hype train going on, but there's no community there. Yeah. There's nothing that people are enticed to do. And so I saw an area where, okay, I was like, I'm going to make original designs. So how I create designs is I literally think of things that I like and try to like collide it some way. So for example, one of the shirts that I have is this owl and this snake, and it's like fight or flight. And
I like that.
Yeah. And it's been my best selling shirt so far. I haven't even released it and I'm almost out of it because I've been going to pop-ups and stuff. But I try to come up with original ideas that represent me in the community. And
they're functional too. Like I read the testimonials on your products and everyone's like, this is so comfortable. Yeah. It's functional.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you make some short compression shorts. Yeah. So like, like loose material on the outside, but a compression underlayer so I could slip my cell phone in there and go for a run. Bro, I'll wear Kill Bill all day long, bro. You give me some different colors in those things, like Ranger panty type.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
exactly
talking about?
What you're talking about.
Bro, you give me those every day, dude. I'll be wearing those every day.
All right, bet.
So I see you're going to pop-ups, you're selling your product, you're just trying to get the word out, right? You're like marketing it on you're always wearing it on your YouTube channel, you're getting the word out. How hard is it growing a clothing brand?
It's probably, if not one of the hardest things to do. Honestly, I think a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, like, clothing brand, really? What makes you stand out? Because that is the hardest part. How are you going to stand out from the rest?
Yeah,
that is, if not the biggest thing, and it's extremely hard.
Here's an idea that just popped in my head. Do you know how Red Bull got started? Do you know how they got so popular so fast?
I actually do not.
So I forget what the event was, and I think it was in the UK. We'll have to Google this because I don't have a Jamie. I'm not the Joe Rogan show. Yeah. We need a Jamie in the show. But there was some event, and Red Bull was trying to gain market share, and there's like 1 million energy drinks, and nobody cared about energy drinks really.
Yeah.
And what they did is they took a bunch of empty cans, and they filled trash cans are in the area where all of these people were coming out of this venue. So every trash can was overflowing with empty Red Bull cans. And it was everywhere. And people were like, what is this drink? What is this drink? And then they just made it available. They stocked all the stores in the surrounding areas. They filled up trash cans with empty cans. And something I was thinking about while you're sitting here is like, how hard is it to get this going? Bro, what if you just literally went into gyms or places where your community would hang out and give it away? Yeah. And so everybody is seeing it. And I know there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
I know there's a cost to that. But I wonder, even if you just started in one location to where every time somebody came in, you saw 10 people that had your brand on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I would do right away is like, what is that brand? I'm going to Google it. Who's associated with it? Oh, this guy. Oh, sick. He works out here. Dude, I got to get on this Kill Bill train. You know, I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought.
100%. It's a good thought.
People want social proof. People aren't going to buy something unless they have social proof. That's why Amazon puts the reviews under everything. So something that I would think about is how do we develop social proof on your brand? You're learning a lot with growing your clothing company. You're learning point of sales. You're learning marketing. You're learning how to structure your business. Is it just you right now?
It is me in mix partially with what I'm doing in school. And then my other buddy that you now know who also owns a clothing brand. We're learning together. And I think that's what's made this journey so much more enjoyable, because when you're just, you're alone on a clothing company journey, there's no one to talk to about the struggles of growing one.
Yeah.
And so having him it really helps.
Well, I'll say it right now. Kill Built is the official athletic wear sponsor of the Dynamis podcast. So if you're looking for some Kill Built athletic wear from a straight up American entrepreneur, hit up the show notes. We're going to put all the information in the show notes. So make sure you start repping some Kill Built.
I appreciate that.
Let's grow this brand. I want to close this episode with a few questions.
Yeah.
All right. We've talked a lot. We've talked all over the spectrum here. I want to ask you a few things about your day-to-day workflow.
Yep.
And then I just want to ask you a couple, psychological things, lessons learned, things along the way. So first of all, you're a very disciplined person. We talk about this. You're in the dojo every day, punishing yourself in a productive way. Like you bring pain in the gym, and you're good at enduring. You're good at being disciplined and consistent. How much does having a discipline based in exercise and physical exertion help your entrepreneurial journey?
It is everything to my journey, 100%. It is. So I like to think about it this way. When I'm on a run and it is insanely painful, I think to myself, if I just stop right now, I'm going to feel awful about myself, right? But this pain doesn't last forever.
True.
It just lasts for a fraction of time. And when that time's over, I'm not even going to remember it. So in my entrepreneurship journey, when the going gets tough, I think about the same exact thing. It's tough right now, but there's going to be a point in time where I look back and I won't even remember that tough time because it just passed. But if I give up, I will remember that. Just like how if I give up on my run, I will remember that time I gave up on my run.
Yeah, that is so true. There's so many things that I've done in my life that are painful, like war and just physical exertion in the military, special operations. When I look back at that time in my life, I can't remember any of that pain. All I remember are the good times. All I remember is the fruit at the other end of that adversity and that hardship. And so many people are afraid to walk through that storm. So many people are afraid to walk through and endure adversity. And they just don't realize that the other side, I say it all the time, at the other side of that adversity is this incredible fruit that's just waiting for you to become the next unleashed version of yourself, and the next and the next and the next. I completely agree. I completely agree. And I think the discipline of making yourself uncomfortable does two things. Number one, it allows you to endure, which is important because discipline and endurance gets you to the finish line, not how fast you go. It's discipline and endurance. But the other thing it does is every time you finish something that you thought you couldn't or you didn't want to, this little nagging, whiny voice that's lying to you, telling you to stop, telling you just to rest. Every time that you finish one of those tasks, you stack up a win.
Yeah.
And you stack up another and another until you stack up so many wins that you have undeniable evidence of who you are.
Right.
And every time you quit early, you're telling yourself, I'm a loser.
Yep.
I can't do it. So what kind of social proof are you going to develop on a consistent basis over time to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are? You are capable of doing what you're capable of doing. And it just takes discipline of pushing through the discomfort. You can go so much further than you're capable of. I learned this lesson in the military, in Ranger School. You know, it's amazing. You go through these things in life that push you past where you think you're going to break, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing when you push past the limit that you put in your brain. Yeah. But where did that limit come from? It came from nowhere. It's make-believe. You just said, oh, this is as much as I can do. And when you are forced to push through that, it unlocks infinite potential. Infinite potential to go do something incredible past that. So the other thing I want to ask you, what is your day like? What does your week look like? How often are you filming content? What you wake up? Are you going to the gym right away? You're in school, you're running a business, you have so many things going on. I'm just curious, like, what does your day look like? What does your routine look like?
So I do have a routine, like I think I mentioned in this video or the previous episode, that I have a routine, although it does get broken sometimes, and that's okay because things come up. So my routine looks like this. I get up at 5:30, 5:45 every morning. And then after that, eat breakfast, got to get a meal in before I hit the gym. Hit the gym 7:15 a.m. After the gym, shower up, go to school till about 12:20. After I do that, have some lunch, eat, Then I'm like, all right, let's try to record some short form content, get our post up on wherever it is for the day.
So you're recording short form day of.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I try not to do that. I try to have it on deck so I don't have to worry about what's going on, that day. But I record short form content for the next day, if that makes sense. Like, I have a dedicated time period to record it, even though I said like on the go. I try to do it.
So it's blocked out in your calendar. Hey, this is short form content time.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I don't have to, because let's just say at the gym, I came up with something, like I said, I try to do it during my day as well. So I don't have to be so, this has to happen because if it doesn't, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I do have some time right there and to get like my posts up for the day. And then by 1:15, I got to edit my YouTube videos because I can't pay someone to do it right now at the moment. Why? Because at this moment, I am currently not making enough, but eventually I will. And then I will.
Have you identified the threshold? And this is so funny that you brought this up. It's literally my next question. Are you editing your videos?
Yes.
Okay. And how much time every week do you think you're spending editing these videos?
Could I just say too much time?
How much? OCD.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a more complex question.
Yeah.
How much do you think your time is worth per hour?
More than whatever I'm getting paid for to do that per hour.
Do you think that it's
videos.
Worth more than you would pay somebody per hour to edit those videos in the same lens that you're editing?
Probably.
I'm pushing on you here.
Yeah.
I'm pushing on you here.
I definitely think that my time is worth more than
how much
time I put into the videos.
When you've reached the threshold of making enough.
Yeah, I guess.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pushing you in a unique way here because you can just do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I've learned, remember I told you I got into the bigger room?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that I learned right away is every entrepreneur thinks that they're the only person that can do this thing and they do it the best. And as soon as they hand it off, there's a growing pain of figuring out a workflow and what your expectation. Not only is it done quicker, it's also executed better than you could have ever done it. And it ends up making that person way more money than the money that they're spending to have it done.
Right.
So what I would challenge you as your friend, I've pushed you a couple times in this episode. And the reason is because I want some accountability.
I appreciate
I want this relationship to be dynamic.
Of course.
And vice versa. Push me anytime. Catch my language. I want you to sit down and identify, what do you want them edited? What type of a budget? Research, identify what that number is.
Yeah.
And once you get that number, I want you to come back to me and we're going to have a conversation offline and we're going to figure out how to get there.
All right.
Because we got to offload that.
Yeah, 100%.
We got to offload that.
There's no question about that. There's no question about that.
But if you don't have a firm line identified, you'll do it forever.
Yeah.
So let's work on identifying that. All right.
Yeah, of course.
I said, hey, if you're going to give a TED talk, we're going to go a little bit long.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So sorry, Hannah. Hannah is my wonderful teammate for all you listening out there who helps me edit these podcasts. And she's going to scold me because we're going to go just a little bit long. So I'm sorry, Hannah. I love you. I'm sorry. Okay. So I sent you a link and it said, hey, if you were to give a TED talk, what would your TED talk be? And you responded with something that was really interesting. And the reason I feel like it's still pertinent, because we covered a lot of ground, is I want to personally been thinking about a lot. And do you want to talk about what you responded with? Do you remember it?
With my TED talk? Yeah. So if I can formulate it correctly, I need my hands for this one. So I said the basis of our expectations and the results of our expectations are derived from actions that we take. And it's interesting to see the results of it and then the expectations after the action is complete.
So tell me.
Yeah.
Why is that your TED talk?
Because throughout my life, trying not to use a nice statement, throughout my life, there have been times where I have struggled with expectations and let go of expectations to a certain degree. I'm not saying that you need to I'm not saying that don't expect yourself to not win. I'm saying don't set in place an expectation that you don't know when the time is, because entrepreneurship is all about uncertainty. You can't time it. And that's why I think expectations are so huge. So I get to really we'll break it down by the first sentence. The basis of expectations are what drive us to do something. So like I mentioned, I have an expectation, right? this expectation that I'm going to own a business. So I take steps to open this business and own it because I had an expectation that I could do it. Then when I take the steps to do it, right, there's a result of taking those steps. How the result is also another expectation, because I worked and I thought I was going to get where I previously expected. And that expectation dictates one big thing, and that is called your emotions. And learning how to deal with life in the most calm and peaceful mind ever. And I say that because there was a schizophrenia develop in some people, right? Like I was just interested one day and I read it, and apparently for some people, schizophrenia can develop after a loved one passes. And I was like, why is that? I wanted to read more into that, right? Because it had to do with expectations. The thing that I found out was that the person never expected the person that they thought, literally what I just said, they thought this person is going to be